can think of LaneIQ Network as Revenova's first foray into analyzing and leveraging big data in order to assess spot market rates. So as many of you know, the primary spot market tool that we tell our customers to use within the TMS is RateIQ, and that tool allows you to pull in data from multiple different sources like DAT and TruckStop and FreightWaves. And what LaneIQ Network is essentially another stream of data that can come into your system. And that stream of data is data that is generated by mutual Revenova customers. So you can think of LaneIQ Network as a cloud-based repository in which all spot carrier quote rates are automatically seeded into this global or this cloud-based repository from all Revenova customers that opt in. So as I said, this is kind of our first attempt, our first foray into leveraging the big data that the hundreds of customers that are building tens of thousands of loads a week, sending that data up into the cloud-based repository and then anonymizing it and then providing back into Revenova your own particular instance into the RateIQ tool for calculating and displaying the spot rate data on a load-by-load basis. The first thing that I'm going to show you is the simple setup for how easy and painless it is to configure this. What you're looking at here is the TMS admin page, so hopefully all of the admins out there are familiar with this. And as I said, very simple and straightforward. One caveat I will say, so this will be an opt-in feature, so all Revenova customers will need to opt in when they perform the 711 upgrade. Pretty painless opt-in feature. And then once you do opt in, then our help desk will be able to install the package, no problem. And really there's only a couple more setup steps involved. So on the TMS admin page, we have one new checkbox here. So if you scroll down on the right-hand side, this new LaneIQ Network enabled checkbox. So it's as simple as that. You check that box, you save the page, and you've activated LaneIQ Network. The one other setup piece, which will be, you'll have assistance from the Revenova help desk, is in your credentials page. So similar to every other API integration that we work with, there's a set of API credentials for security such that you can enter these credentials and gain access to the various providers. So when you come to your TMS admin credentials page, you'll come to Global Services and scroll down to the LaneIQ Network card. Within the LaneIQ Network card is, as you're all familiar with, a set of user ID and password credentials that Revenova will be providing to you once you've opted into the service. So it's as simple as that. You check the box on the configuration page, activate your credentials, and you're off and running. The last setup component that I'll show you is something that hopefully most of you are familiar with, which is the RateIQ Calculations tab. So again, back on my TMS admin page, I'm going to click the RateIQ Calculations link here. I'm in my demo environment, so I have the single truckload rate calculation shown here. And when I come to this page, the new feature that you're going to see here is the new data source within the rate calculation rules. So the dropdown, as you can tell, we have a brand new data source, which is LaneIQ Network. And this is how you're going to be feeding data into the LaneIQ Network RateIQ calculation. So I have LaneIQ Network identified here with the look-back days and the search radius and my thresholds, as you've seen in RateIQ demos past. So with all that setup done, the payoff, it can be seen on the load. So I'm going to hop over to this tab, and what you'll see here is this is a load that I've recently built in my demo environment, and this load is a load moving from Boston to Denver. So our good old friends Boston Beans and Denver Deli Meats. Then on the left-hand side, we have our RateIQ tool, which again, familiar to you all, but if you hit the drop-down, the new feed of data is what you're going to see here. So LaneIQ Network is the new data source being fed into RateIQ, which is going to give you even more data when you're making your spot rate calculations to determine what you need to be paying the carrier. So as you can see, I'm in my demo environment right now, so I only have a handful of loads in the system at the moment, but as you can imagine, as we onboard more and more customers into the LaneIQ network, this amount of data is only going to exponentially grow. The LaneIQ network tool that you have access here to now is really going to enable your users to get the most accurate, up-to-date pricing at any time in whatever load that they're in.